Greetings, brothers. It's a delight to be with you, even under these difficult circumstances. I don't know about you, but I'm learning a lot during these times that we're living in. First of all, I'd like to begin saying that these are the best of times for your children. Do you want to know why? Because you're an attentive, involved dad. For generations, fathering has kind of been on the second pedestal. Important, but not nearly as valued as mothers. Now I think we're in a co-regency where dads and moms are both critical to child well-being. And your participation in your child's life makes it the best of times. But these are also very challenging times. Not only are we living under the challenge of disease and stay at home and many other things, but we are also being challenged by the cultural winds which are impacting our child. And those winds are strong. It's kind of like a tug of war, east against west. And we have the values of an authoritarian regime contrasted to a very freewheeling regime, so to speak. And you're in the middle. It's with that sense of respect and depth I speak to you as brothers, because I'm like you. I'm a dad who wants to leave a healthy legacy, and it begins right here. Your heart and the investment of your heart into your child is wisdom. And let me explain why. During these times where we perhaps have been closed in, we're eating more together, we're playing games, we're telling stories. One thing I've found that I so enjoy is putting together puzzles. We've completed 2 massive puzzles as a family. And it's beautiful to see the border, the inside of a puzzle being put together. And as we have done this, you know what I've done? I've found myself pondering and seeing what's going on in my child and my grandchild's life. And we get to interact, and I can tell stories. Stories that hopefully will bring wisdom to them. Now, when wisdom is at the forefront of our minds, what we are doing is bringing together our past, the strengths, and even the challenges we've faced. And when we put those in real life experiences, they have traction of deep depth. Think of this. You know, as you are going about the business of fathering, each stage of your child's development, you share a little bit more of your wisdom that's appropriate to that stage that they're entering. Think of yourself as going fishing. Do you like to fish? I do. I've taken children and grandchildren fishing. And what you do when you size up a space, whether it's a stream bed, or a river, or a huge lake, you're thinking, where are the fish? Where is the optimum depth that the fish are feeding at? And what sort of bait attracts them? Your children in the same way have developed, and you have the opportunity of learning what to say, when to say it, how to say it, and perhaps the most important, when to listen. Wisdom is being able to determine and discern that. So I believe right now you have a repository, a deep depth of stories to tell your children. And it begins with this: be vulnerable. Now let me define that. Vulnerability is being transparent and open about your life. It's helping your children through your experiences so they may not make the same mistakes, but may have some of the same positive benefits learning from your life. They know you, they watch you, they listen to you. You are a strong reference point when it comes to wisdom. So this is how I see wisdom being imparted. First of all, your child's heart is like the soil, fresh, rich in nutrients, and the seed that you plant in the soil is the wisdom of your experiences that you have collected over the years. Now, with the other elements, with water and with sunlight, it bursts forth. The desire in planting wisdom is to help your son or your daughter develop discernment. The purpose of wisdom is to bring together not just knowledge and facts, it is processed with your very life. And when that is planted security, discernment springs forth. Discernment is about contrast, understanding the right way and the wrong way, the challenging way and the healthy way. When we help our children grow in discernment, we are going to be passing on, like a baton, giving them a baton, a sense of authority that they can take forward in their own life. It's about choices, helping them make good choices and listening to them as they reflect on the choices they make. You're reaching a point as children mature where you want them to make some mistakes. Now, I am not saying that we want our children to fail. We want to provide an environment of love and care so that when they make mistakes, even in our home, they can learn that this is the benefits of having parents who care and a dad who loves them, and also the consequences of when those mistakes come. Now, as I began to contrast this all-important area of developing discernment, I've characterized what I'd say the extremes of fathering. Over here, you have what would be the fun-loving father, the freewheeling, the happy dad, who's very permissive and wants to be more of a buddy. Over here, you have the authoritarian father, very distant, very controlling, hard-nosed. And where we want to end up as dads is straight down the middle. Let me explain. I've had 5 children and reared them through adulthood. Those 5 children have brought to this point in their lives 13 grandchildren. So I have 2 generations that I've been privileged to nurture and care for. Now, developing discernment is so important because they are now established in their own careers and professions, and now I'm watching my grandchildren also follow in their steps. There is a role that I play even today, but this is what I have learned from the social science research. Children, whether they're young or much more mature, they're hardwired to connect. That's right. There's an inward wiring within their neurosystem that helps them develop fully when they connect in healthy ways, guess what, with their dad. And in that connection, I've noticed and noted among the research 5 important reference points, and these are those. In your developing of wisdom and discernment, be warm and caring. Warmth is closeness. We know the research says father closeness is great benefit to a child, and that closeness brings a sense of care and concern. When your child feels your care and concern, it dwells deep in their heart and gives them confidence. The second thing that is important in wisdom is something very common sense. It's establishing boundaries, knowing the difference between right and wrong, and being able to determine what are those benefits of choosing this path. Establishing boundaries is ongoing, and you begin, and as they mature, you show them more and more boundaries that are healthy from which to live. The third that the research identified is when fathers are focused on long-term benefits in contrast to the quick fix solutions. Oftentimes we just want to fix things quickly and don't think through the long-term consequences. So sometimes we make a big deal out of little things, And sometimes we let big things go by and we don't even notice them. A simple rule to remember is that if some decision or behavior or lifestyle or even relationship that your child is in is going to make a difference 1 to 2 to 3 years later, it needs attention. But if it's something that's very temporary, making a big deal about that often detracts from the long-term benefits. So you have to ask yourself the question, is this really important, or is this something I just need to let go and let my child perhaps make a mistake and be there to support them during that time? The fourth component in this hardwired to connect is simply this: they are watching you. Their eyes, their ears, their attention is focused on you. I tell dads many times, your children in some ways are smarter than you. Not knowledgeably, but they understand and observe behavior. And they know how to respond because they get in sync with what is modeled them. So the way that you speak, the way that you act, the way that you drive, the ways that you do things, those are providing healthy models for them. And it develops discernment. And lastly, I would say this. The research, which was mainstream research, noted that the development of moral and spiritual values was important. In some ways, that's what I so appreciate about Polish history. There are depth of values there, some that have spiritual depth and some that are just values because this is who we are. I so appreciate in the midst of totalitarian regimes, the Polish spirit stayed strong, and families now are benefiting from the leadership of past generations. As you think about fathering this summer and fall, be sure that in the soil of your child's heart, you're planting wisdom, not knowledge and facts, but vulnerable stories about your life that you're imparting to them and allowing others to bring water and the sunlight above to burst forth with growth. And then at the same time, setting all these boundaries and understanding that warmth and nurturing is critical to discernment. That will distinguish your children among many others. And I do believe as you sow this seed and allow it to grow, that you'll be setting a legacy that will be long lasting for your children and your children's children, and God willing, your children's children's children. It is great to be with you. I look forward to seeing you again soon. Take care.